think Molly is missing her mommy. What do you think? I'm going to ramble a little bit in this video. Not that I don't ramble in my other videos, but I'm going to talk about something. Someone commented on one of my videos a couple of days ago and said they had no idea that this is what it really took to start a business or something like that, or how much work it took to start a business. And I touched on this in my video yesterday, and I talked about, if you're a consultant, I was a consultant at one point, and it was easy to start a business pretty much. You internet connection, a computer, and some contacts and marketing know-how, and some knowledge, and you were in business. And that doesn't take this type of work, this physical work, and all the different things that has to happen. But building a physical business that'll eventually have employees, probably pretty soon, that's going to physically house products and ship products. There's things that are involved that have to be set up and configured, and there's so many different aspects of that business. And as I go through this, it seems like a kind of a hodgepodge, of different things coming from different angles. But towards the end of the experience here, I'll give a more of a rundown of a flowchart type layout for this kind of a business to give you an idea, and probably make it a little bit easier to visualize. But when I thought about their comment, and I thought about where does that drive come from for people like me to want to start a business? I've got enough experience and and knowledge and everything that I could go to work for another company and probably make a good living and retire comfortably, and it would probably be pretty easy for me at this stage. But I can't do that. It's not in me. And the side that drives people like me to want to run a business, to have employees and deal with vendors and deal with employees and all the headaches and heartaches and heartburn and disappointment, and along with that, hopefully a lot of gratification comes out of it. What makes us want to go through all that? It seems like we're abusing ourselves, and I don't know what it is. And I think maybe the best thing I can think of is what I just mentioned a moment ago, and that's gratification that we get out of it. It's very gratifying to us to know that we can do something on our own, that's our own ideas, that where we can leverage our creativity of from everything from the creativity market to the creativity of business. And we have always tried to leverage our businesses to do some type of philanthropy work, whether it's us doing things or having our followers and customers donate. And we did quite a bit of that before, and there's a lot of gratification that comes from that. There's gratification from growing a business and hiring employees and creating jobs. That was at one point a few years ago, that was something that for a long time that I took a lot of pride in, that we were growing and creating jobs, and it became addictive. It really did, because of that gratification. And I think that when you go through all those things as a business owner, building a business, and all the negatives that I just mentioned, that getting through those and having success makes that gratification so much sweeter. And before we had success, we had a lot of I call them failures. Some people may have called them successes, but they weren't the success that I envisioned. We built our first e-commerce store was a site that sold West Virginia University collegiate merchandise, licensed merchandise, and it wasn't. It was probably the biggest of those things that we did, and it was pretty successful, and it had good revenues and everything. And we sold it to someone who had a retail store in West Virginia. They bought our inventory and gave us some value for having built a business. But I didn't consider that a real success because it wasn't what I envisioned it to be and wanted it to be. A lot of people would have thought it was. It just all depends on your perspective and the scale of how you look at it. And going through all those different failures that I view is where at some point you reach success, and you just have to keep going. You have to keep trying, and don't let previous failures stop you from trying again. And when you go through all those and then you have success, that gratification is even stronger. So if when it comes to what's it take to do it and why do we do it and work so hard at it and put so much into it, both physically and mentally and emotionally, knowing that there's a high probability of disappointment, it's that gratification. There's no other way I can explain what we get out of it and why we want to keep doing it. And there's a lot of businesses that grow into just huge businesses because of that. And I don't think that this is talked about enough among bigger business owners, because there's something that drives them. And believe it or not, I have a hard time believing that every single rich person out there is driven by greed. Those things, really came to light in the last few years when I started to experience them and realize what gave me that gratification to want to come to work each day. So, just a deep thought for the night, I guess. We moved a lot more of the shelving today. Believe it or not, we still have one more load to move tomorrow on Saturday, and we'll have that in there, and we're going to start a plan on setup and everything probably tomorrow afternoon, and see how far we get. I did not go back to the office and work this evening. I was a little wiped out, but came back here, hung out with Molly. As you saw at the beginning, she's missing her mommy. She'll be home here in a couple of days, but came home and got some rest this evening and took it easy. Tried to get on my laptop to do a little bit of work, and really was just too tired to do that, so I could tell my head wasn't in it. So I took most of the evening off and just kind of chilled out. So the hand's not too bad today. It's bruised, obviously, and swollen and a little stiff and sore, but definitely not as sore and achy as I thought it would be. So, but Molly and I are going to grab a good night's sleep. We're going to meet the movers tomorrow, move the rest of that shelving again, and hopefully that'll be the last of the hardest physical labor anyway. After this, we've got to put the stuff together, but that's going to come a little bit slower and a little bit more baby steps instead of doing it all in one day. So, but I will wrap up and maybe can give you an update on Sunday, more about where we're at.